Hello, guys and gals. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. We were hoping for a Tampa Bay and Green Bay loss today, Sunday, November 26th. The Colts had that in the bag. Oh, Carson Wentz does Carson Wentz things. He breaks my heart. I mean, I hated him with Philly, but since he's with the Colts now, I can root for him. They're up by 10. They get the ball to start the second half. They're in the red zone, primed to go up by 17 with a killer shot, and they just start turning the ball over. Strip sack, and then right after that, the next drive, horrible interception. I don't know why you're throwing it deep. Just keep the drive going like you were, Carson. They do tie it up, but then they just, even whenever Tampa was in field goal range, it would have been a long field goal attempt. You know they're going to run the ball. How do you let Leonard Fournette run 29 yards to pay dirt? They almost got bailed out by the kick returner, but a little bit too late. And then a video I put out 2 weeks ago about the stop crowning the Rams, because everybody wanted to crown the Rams because they got Matthew Stafford and they got Von Miller and they got OBJ to add to their plethora of big names on their team. 2 weeks ago, I put that video. It only had like 11 views. That video should have got more respect, because just because a team has a lot of big names doesn't mean that they're a team. That's all the Rams are, is a bunch of big names. They lost 3 in a row, and they haven't been competitive in any of those 3 losses. They had Von Miller completely healthy now coming up the bye week. Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, and the Packers are starting a third string left tackle. And Von Miller or Leonard Floyd cannot exploit that. I think Rodgers got on the ground one time, and that wasn't by any of those 3 that you would think would be the one to put him down. And Jalen Ramsey, if he's supposed to be the best corner in the game, why doesn't he follow Devontae Adams the whole game? Does he want to be one of those corners that just plays one side? I tell you, Prime would, wasn't scared to follow somebody. In 94, whenever they signed him just to beat us, he followed Michael Irvin most of that game. If Jalen Ramsey wants to make, a real name for himself, he has to follow 17 that whole game. Follow him. Press him at the line. Be physical. And when he did play against him, Devontae Adams just made him his bitch, honestly. I mean, he whooped Ramsey up and down that field anytime Ramsey would cover him. So, we wanted Tampa and Green Bay to lose. It's fine. They didn't. Only one game back behind those 2. Packers they got the Ravens, the Browns, and Minnesota still left as their 3 hard games. They can lose one of those. All we need them is to lose at least one. And this was a game Tampa was supposed to lose. The only other game I see them potentially losing on their schedule is Buffalo, especially if Buffalo's hitting on all cylinders, or if Tom Brady gets COVID for a week, and they got to play their backup against Carolina or New Orleans or whatnot. And they're going to start testing every player twice a day now. After Thanksgiving holiday, every player is going to be tested twice a day. And COVID, I think, is going to really dictate a couple of big games and could cost some teams certain seeds. Now, we got Lamb coming back, barring some weird setback. Amari Cooper supposed to be back tomorrow. I believe that he's getting tested negative twice in a row. He should be back tomorrow. Tank should also be back for this New Orleans game. Gregory has a shot of playing. I don't think he does. I think we see him next week against Washington. And we're going to be missing 6 different coaches during this game. We have a rampant case of COVID in the Star. Joe Philbin, offensive line coach, will miss this game also, as he missed the last one. Jeff Blasco, the assistant offensive line coach, will miss the game. The offensive assistant, Scott, I don't know his last name, he's going to miss the game. And the 3 strength and conditioning coaches, the entire strength and conditioning coach team Howell has COVID. Only one has a chance that might clear to be able to play. I mean, to be able to be on the sideline during the game time. That is kind of a big deal. Now, Terrence Steele has COVID. He's on the COVID list, so that's going to put Lyle Collins at right tackle for sure. Ty Smith is healthy. So as of right now, we got Ty Smith, McGovern, Biadash, Martin, and Collins. That's going to be our starting five against Minnesota. Against New Orleans. And New Orleans has a very stout front four. Very stout, as I'm sure you all know. But you also Buffalo, who is healthy, trounce them on Thanksgiving. I don't see why we can't either. Now, talking about sitting Zeke for a game because his knee is not right. you can see by the way he's playing. He has 151 carries this season for 695. He's averaging 4.6 yards a tote, 7 touchdowns. I don't mind sitting him a game, but I would rather do it against Washington because after the same game, you get that 10, 11 day stretch until you play again. So if we were to play him against the Saints and then let him rest against Washington, he would get a good amount of rest time. And I believe that, the Saints are better than Washington, and we could use him. And if we're going to do that, if we're going to sit him for a week, there's no way Pollard can carry the ball 20 to 25 times. I know we have a third back, not very good. I don't see why we just don't go out and sign AP. Adrian Peterson would be a solid third back, a very solid third running back, especially if he has an offensive line to run behind. Whenever Zeke gets that knee better and a good 11 day plus stretch would help. I think we'll see the Zeke that we saw earlier this season when he had that burst like he had his first 3 years. He just been playing hurt. He's got that knee's banged up. And so what else we have? Yeah. So with all that going on, we're getting our horses back. The Eagles lose against the Giants, so that makes them less of a threat to try to catch us in the division, which I really don't think we can be caught because the schedule's cupcake from here on out, except for Arizona. We go to New Orleans Thursday night with our horses. We got Coop, Lamb. We got everybody back. We haven't had Coop, Lamb, and Gallup but only 2 games this season. That was week 1 against Tampa. Gallup played the first quarter. We still threw the ball up and down the field. And against Atlanta, we had all 3 of them. And you saw what we put up on that on that game. So we'll have our 3-headed monster at receiver. Gallup had over 100 yards against the Raiders in that BS 28 flag loss. Though 28 flags in that Raider game. 28. That is 7 flags a quarter. Get off your high horse, damn it. Let the boys play. Like Parsons said, we're here to play football, not tag. It's a full contact sport. And then against Tampa today, they got 2 touchdown drives because of throwing it deep, just get a pass interference penalty. They need to start calling less of those PIs. It's getting ridiculous, and we're getting tired of it. People around the league are. Big time. So as of right now, you got Arizona, the 1 seed, Green Bay, the 2 seed, Tampa, 3 seed, Cowboys, 4 seed. You got the Rams still holding on to the 5 seed, only by 1 game. Right behind them is the 49ers. The Rams are 7-4, the Niners are 6-5. And the Niners beat them already. And they played them again last game of the season. And 7 seed is still Minnesota. They had a blip on the radar today. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team, man. They beat Green Bay 1 week and lose against San Fran the next. And we know Green Bay's a better team than the Niners. But I'm pretty sure those 3 teams will be the 3 wildcard teams. I don't know in which order. I think the Rams, the way they're looking, losing 3 straight in the style that they're losing them in. Matthew Stafford is looking like the Detroit Lions Matthew Stafford. I would have never given up 2 first-round picks for him. I don't know what they were thinking. Now, if he was accomplished and had playoff wins and maybe had been to a championship game, I could see that. But he has 0 playoff wins. And he had a lot of talent in Detroit for a few of those years and could have really made a deep run. But he didn't. Why is that? It usually goes down to the quarterback. But, so we go into New Orleans. with our horses. If we can get a get-right game like we did against Atlanta and put up over 40, and with Tank Lawrence back, having Parsons on the other side, getting a consistent pass rush, knowing that they're having trouble with their tackles right now, Trevor Siemian, just give him a nightmare day and get our defense back on track, hold them, to 17 or less, and just put up 40, 50 points. That would be a big get-right game. And then we'll have 11 days to prepare for Washington, going into the cold air of D.C., and then going to the cold air of New Jersey, to straight road games after this road game. But we're better than those two teams by far. So healthy, barring we don't get any crazy last-minute COVID deals to key players, we should be fine. If we beat the Saints on Sunday, I believe we will finish the season 5-1, maybe 6-0. I think we can beat Arizona. Fully healthy, we can beat any team. Especially because when we play Arizona, we'll have everybody back. Everybody. Nobody will be missing. Gallimore will be back finally. Brent Urban will be back. All them boys. And so we will have a fearsome foursome in the front four. Just imagine that. In the middle, you got Gallimore, and you got Osio Odighizuwa or Brent Urban. And then you got Tank Lawrence on the left. And then you got Parsons lined up right next to Tank on the left. And then you got Gregory lined up on the right. How scared do you think quarterbacks are going to be? We can rush 4 or 5 guys and get home on a consistent basis. And a good pass rush without blitzing heavily really masks deficiencies in your secondary. And I believe we're going to have a pass rush like the 07 and 2011 Giants did. I mean, hell, you could just rush 4. You could just have Parsons, Lawrence in the middle with Gallimore and Randy on the edge. And I believe they can run stunts. I mean, they can do whatever. And they can really make the day long for whoever is at quarterback. I don't care if it's 12 or the other 12 or if it's Stafford or who the hell it is. They're going to be in for a game. Kyler Murray, it doesn't matter. But, Eagles lose today to the Giants 7-13. So they're 5-7 now. That pretty much wraps up the division, unless we just completely fall apart. But getting healthy, I don't believe we do. Last season, Buccaneers lost 3 or 4 at one point. In the 93 season, we lost weeks 1 and week 2. We started 0-2 because we didn't have Emmett. We didn't have one of our star players that makes the motor go. And then we lost weeks 10 and 11 back-to-back. So we had 2 back-to-back losses in the 93 season. And I'm sure both of those back-to-back losses, people were starting to, question the team's grit. So this back-to-back loss, I'm not going to worry about it too much. You shouldn't either. We should be back on the saddle Thursday night. That's it for this edition of Charles in Charge Cowboy Sports Report. Please subscribe, like, and share. I would greatly appreciate that. And like I said 2 weeks ago, stop crowning the damn Rams. They're just a bunch of names. They're not a football team. That's it for me. I'm out.